everyone. Welcome to the Sister to Sister Connection show. That is a tongue twister, y'all. Like, for real.
Yes,
I love it, right? It's memorable. So, if you didn't know who Robyn Jackie is, I don't know what rock you've been under, but honey, before you need to come up from under that rock, okay?
She right there, y'all. She right there.
Amazing woman. We're gonna jump right on it. You know, I've been honored to have the opportunity to be in Robyn's presence like twice.
Yeah.
Yes, she's part of our Sexy Brand Building Formula 12-week program, and she's just phenomenal. And we cried and we laughed.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, y'all, my berry babies, okay, Westbury, out. Yes, your girl swimming, honey. Okay, I was swimming. Yes, I was. So she taught me how to swim last year. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, cool.
Good times.
Yes, and she was so patient with me because I'm not a good student. I'm really not. You know what? That brings us into this topic about, you know, stepping in the person that you want to become, because if you because my methodology was like, Black girls, we don't swim. We just don't. No, we put our feet in the pool, we wear the bathing suits, we look cute, and that's it, right? So thank you guys so much for hopping on. We have Shoshana, Abby. Hey, Abby, how are you?
Abby!
Abby's in the house. We got Marielle, we got Keisha Cook. Yes,
Oh my
thank you
goodness.
for hopping on. And most importantly, what I want each and every one of you guys to do, if you're gonna watch us, definitely pass this show on, get it on your timeline, start a watch party, get everybody in here, put it in your groups. If you're an admin of that group, let me just say that. And get as many people in here, because Robyn's going to introduce herself in just a second, but what we're going to be talking about is this part 2 to our Monday show that we did. It's called Mistaken Identity. You're not who you used to be. Type in me in the comments right now, or type in me in the comments right now if you are not the woman you were 10 years ago.
Come on.
It's a problem, okay? Cussing out the McDonald's man because he didn't give you extra ketchup. Because that's what my Aunt Jackie used to do, honey. You didn't give her extra tartar sauce, honey, she's gonna get
Yo. That's what my daughter experienced, because she works at McDonald's, okay?
Hello, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Abby said me. Awesome, Abby. Yes, guys, type in me if you're not the woman that you used to be. I know Tawanta and I are definitely far in between that 10 years ago. And I know Robyn is the same way. So again, this is part 2 to that Monday's conversation. And I want each and every one of you guys to be interactive, engaging. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments. But also, we have a online community too, guys. I know many of you guys didn't know about that, but if you go to the title, you're going to see Sister to Sister Connection. It's in bold black. You hit it and it takes you straight to our group, okay? We want you guys to get inside there, because Tawanta and I is about to have some awesome stuff that we're going to be launching in that group. It's free of charge. You don't have to pay to join, but you definitely have to have an open heart. Be transparent, because that's what our tagline is, right, Tawanta? Our tagline is Transparency Unleashed. During this Sister to Sister Connection show, we talk about everything. Marriage. We talk about family. We talk about the in-laws and the outlaws. We talk about everybody. We're just honest. We're just totally honest. So everyone, if this is your very, very first time watching me, my name is Letitia Campbell, and I am your sales success strategist. I help coaches and consultants dominate their sales online by teaching you divas, okay, how to magnetically attract customers and clients so that you can leave that 9 to 5 and build the life that you deserve. So Tawanta, introduce yourself, sis.
Yes, I am your Master Soul Inspirational Coach, and I am here to help renew your mindset, restore your heart, and rebuild your spiritual lifestyle. So
Amen.
You can live your life more abundantly, y'all.
Amen.
Yes. I'm excited.
Welcome, Tammy. Happy to have you on. Go ahead, Robyn. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Robyn Jackie. I am a resilience coach. I help women overcome past abusive relationships so that they can cultivate post-traumatic growth and create an intentional life.
Awesome.
Amen. I love it. Living intentional. Yeah. So last week, I know I gave you guys, not last week, on Monday, I gave you guys some tips to consider. I'm going to revisit those this morning for those of you who missed it. I know Tawanta slammed it with some awesome insights about how to really transform and become your best you instead of living in the past. We live in the past a lot. That's one of the things I had to struggle with. You know, I'm still struggling with it right now. Okay. Living in the past, honey, it's hard to let it go. How many of you guys find it so hard to let go of who you are in the past or what somebody else did to you in the past? It's hard. It's hard. You know, we think more about the bad times. We think way less about times where it was like mad lit. You know what I'm saying? So, and we got to do that, right? So, Robyn is gonna, if you can get started with your perspective on that mistaken identity about how you are not who you used to be. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah. Sure. Well, when you first brought this up to me, it's going to sound really weird, but the first thing that came to mind was Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh.
Okay. So if you can bear with me for a second, Alice in Wonderland was like the original Inside Out, where there are pieces within us that are anger and rage and all these other emotions, but they're characters, right?
Right.
So if you think of the Queen of Hearts, and she has her moments where things are good, and then she's like, enough, off with her head. Or if you think of the White Rabbit, and they're like, oh my God, got to get on time.
Yeah.
All of these things are pieces of who we are.
That's right.
And when we're struggling with the past and why we can't overcome those ruminations, that constant going over, if I had done this, if I had said this, if I looked this way, or if I behaved this way, the outcome would have changed.
Yeah.
When the reality is it's not like that at all, right? You could have bent over backwards, turned yourself inside out, and the outcome would still be the outcome. So
wow.
We are dealing with parts of ourselves that haven't let go. And when we're not letting go, we're being stuck and grounded into a position that it's not effective for the lifestyle that we want, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So our biggest piece that we need to be able to deal with, like, honestly, it doesn't matter who out there in the world has an opinion on who we are now, right? Because that's not your business.
Right.
That wonderful saying, it's not your business what other people say about or think about you.
That's right.
So really, it has to do with the balance of our internal state versus our external state. Because when we change, obviously, people view us differently.
That's right.
Which is understandable, because as a human being, we filter who the people around us are by who we see in ourselves.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So if we are changing and evolving and growing, our internal state kind of looks for that in other people. And if they're not matching that, then we have an attitude.
Ooh. Wow.
Right? And so the acceptance that we're not giving them is the same acceptance that we're not giving ourselves. And this is why we're stuck where we're at, because if we're not accepting who we are, how are we accepting the person that's in front of us?
Come on now. Come on. Come on, Robyn.
I love that face, Wanda. This is like the largest reason why when entrepreneurs, particularly women, start their business and then they end up divorcing because they've put so much time and energy into that personal growth.
That's right.
And our expectations and that bar we've set for ourselves isn't being matched by our partners.
Ooh.
And when that's not being met, guess what happens? We're rubbing up against the blueprint of our lifestyle, and our life, and our expectations. And we're asking them, well, why aren't you raising the bar? Well, their bar is fine. We need to be able to balance and lean into the acceptance of where they're at. Because who are we to impose? This is like religion. How are you imposing your religion on me?
That's right.
I mean, there's really no difference between your business and professional, and I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way, but
that's fine.
It is what it is. So yeah, it's we have to be able to balance kind of our attitudes and be gracious where other people are. And that's really, this is where we need to practice in ourselves, because that Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland, that's a piece of us.
That's right.
That voice is inside of our head, and she's there for a reason. We're not trying to get rid of her. She belongs to us, and we need to embrace her because that piece protects us. Some people call it anxiety. Some people call it depression, but that piece is supposed to be there.
Yeah. And
when we're incongruent with that piece, she's less likely to flare up and say, "Off with your head."
Right.
That is so true.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I see Tawanta's like, yes, we're like, this is a collection play because this is awesome. Tawanta, what stood out for you after what Robyn said?
I had to write it down.
Okay. Well, it's recorded.
Take them notes. Well, that's right. All of you guys who are watching, y'all should be taking notes on this.
What really stood out for me, she said, it's not your business of what other people think about you. And all the time, and I know countless, every day, we always wonder what other people think of us.
That's true.
And that
Absolutely
slows our progress of achieving the goals that we're supposed to be accomplishing, because we just, and especially here on social media, we constantly look at all of these persons on here and look how successful their business is going, and a lot of likes and followers they're receiving, they're getting, and all of that. And we want to copycat, we want to copycat because we don't have confidence in ourselves. And if we just do this and do, then people would approve of me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you approving who you are.
That's right.
And that's what stood out for me, because I used to be that way a long time ago. I really did. I used to think, I think all of us at some point in time in our lives have been there, done that too. But, at some point you got to realize that at the end of the day, no matter how many times you try to please people, it's not going to work. It's stressing you out, and you missing the mark.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And good morning, Nicole. We got Tamara. She just hopped on. Thank you guys for joining, and make sure that you pass this broadcast on. And what really stood out from this conversation for me was that when you mentioned how people are not always going to match what you're going through right now, it was that particular way in my marriage, you know what I mean? How I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur, and my partner and me and the people in my life didn't really understand why I would do that. But I expected them, unfairly so, to say, well, this is what I want to do and you got to understand it, and I should have just went more of, well, we could just agree to disagree and I still do what I need to do, rather than pushing it down their throats, only because our realities are always different. My partner's reality was he never grew up around entrepreneurs. So he never really seen the inside of all the development and the ups and downs and the passion on top of that. Versus me, I grew up around people who made their own money. I mean, my father did, my great-great-grandfather did. I mean, that's what I grew up around. So I grew up with knowing that there are choices. A lot of times, some families growing up, to say that word entrepreneur, people instantly think, oh, wow, you got to be rich in order to start a business, or it's hard, or this and that. And really, if you're around that environment, you see how easy and simple it is, right? That to grasp onto that. And going back into, it's not your business what people think of you. And that is so true. I mean, we say it all the time, but we don't really internally believe it. I know for me personally, I try to used to ask people, well, how do you feel? Or how do you feel about this? Or I always wanted somebody else's confirmation.
Right.
Even though I knew what direction I needed to go into, I always needed somebody else to say, you got this, Letitia, or go ahead and do it. Or yes, I think you should, instead of just trying it out and seeing what happens and then going from there. Yes, Abby is like totally agreeing with you. Somebody said, is there a point where we draw the line and let it go?
Well, yeah, there is, but I can't tell you where that line is, because that line is unique to you, right? Yeah. I mean, the reality is when we grow with people, we have to respect where they're at. And when we start to change, particularly for couples, when we start to change as individuals, that sets off the threat alarms in your partner's brain going, oh my God, she's leaving me. If she leaves me, I'm dead.
Ooh,
because now I'm out of the tribe, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same way our brain goes, I need to get this done because if I don't, I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to find this lovely little dance where we can dance together, validate each other, going, I understand what you mean by you're nervous about this because it is a risk.
Mm-hmm.
However, you also have to take the risk in trusting. So wherever that line is for you is where your comfort zone and your ability to communicate where that line is comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And I'm glad that you said early on that that's not a question that you can answer. It's a personal thing. It's almost like, you know, I think when you get to that point where enough is where your energy is like on this last freaking leg. And
Right.
I used to work with the mentally ill a long time ago, 2 years ago, actually. And I used to always assume that in order for you to have a mental illness is something that you're born with. And once I got into the field, I was like, that is not true. I met women that had a nervous breakdown because, you know, their partner left them, you know what I'm saying? Or they've been abandoned or whatever. It was like a trauma, you know? And I always tell ladies, don't get to that point because it can happen to you. You know, I had a young lady share, she looks just as normal as you and I, but had gone through some serious issues because of her spouse leaving her. It just totally just brain overload, right?
Sure.
And I just said, I was telling myself, well, I can get so close to that where there's no point of return, right? So really it's just about, you know, what is your bottom? What is your, and you know, another thing I realize as women is that we don't establish boundaries with people. And that's why we can't constantly give people chances over and over again. We don't say, well, if he does this, that's it. We'll say it, but we don't act on it. You know, right. A lot of us, like, and for example, if your partner cheated on you, and then years ago you said, if anybody ever cheated on me, I wouldn't be with them, but you still stay with them. But oh wait, cheated on me, but we got kids, we got property, we got this, we got a car. You know what I'm saying? Like we make up all these excuses on top of our boundaries that we set years and years ago. Right?
Which, by the way, is not necessarily the boundary you have with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing.
You're
but
right.
There is a boundary that we need to have within ourselves.
Yes.
To know where our limits are, to know how much I can take before I have to absolutely implement self-care.
Yes.
Because the reality is that we get pulled and our energy is taken. And as women, we talk more. We're more empathetic as a being, typically, than men are. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a good thing. It's just, it is what it is.
It is, yep.
So we need to be able to have the boundary within ourselves that says, okay, how do I know that my boundary isn't being met? How do I know when I'm starting to get tapped out? Because you're right, mental health is not entirely, you're not born with it. There are variables that go into that, and I'm not going to get into that now. Yeah. But we all have a responsibility to ourselves that to take that piece, that red queen, and say, okay, lady, you need to sit down because you need a timeout. What do you need to do right now to protect yourself so that you can not only protect yourself, but your partner and your family and your business? Because when we get out of alignment, a whole lot of things can go wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. So that boundary within ourselves is incredibly important.
It is. And you know, Abby, she's on here. She's one of my mindset coach. And
my girl.
Yes, I had a conversation. Abby would tell you, I be in my car late at night. It's late for me, early for her because she's all the way in Bali. And, you know, I'll have conversations with her. And last week, you know, I was in my car. It was like 11 o'clock at night for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what's going on. And she's like, Tisha, you need to create your army. How many of you ladies have an army around you of women or men who are just supporting you, pouring on you? And your army, I mean, this is my opinion. Your army has to be outside of your current community. I'm just saying that because it's like, I know I got my sisters on here, and a lot of times you have your friends and they'll be like, oh, they'll tell you one thing, and or you have your parents, they'll tell you another thing. It's like me talking to Abby out. Abby's totally outside my bubble. She's the most unbiased person that I ever meet. She has no problem telling me, well, Letitia, you need to, well, you should have did this, or maybe you should have think in this perspective or whatever. Totally unbiased, right? So her telling me things is like, oh my God, I got to implement that immediately, right? Because it's coming from a source that has no underlying intentions or, I would say, I was talking about religious motives because a cultural motives behind that, because it's hard talking to somebody who talks to you in a form of culture, like, well, the culture is, you know, you have to submit and you have to, you know what I mean? And you're like, wait, I get all that, but I just want to, listen, I'm about to get it back. It's in the truck now, Abby. It's raining outside, and I'm ready to go. Okay. Just saying. I know all ladies on here got to that point. I ain't just me.
It's not just you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's like you need to speak to people to sort of get you out of that moment of like, oh my God. So you got to build your army, ladies. That's so freaking important. I love that you mentioned, Robyn, you bringing me back now because you're like, you got to establish your boundaries with yourself. That is so important. I don't think we have that. A lot of women, I don't think we have that. I think I need to revisit mine.
And there's, I mean, culturally speaking, there's a reason why we don't necessarily have that, because, I mean, our brains are designed for connection.
You're right.
And so our brains are programmed to make sure that your tribe, whether that's your husband, your family, you know, your business, is taken care of. And when we think about our list of to-dos, we are very rarely on that list as just as women, because we are told, okay, well, we have to take care of this, and we have to take care of this, and we have to be nurturing, and we have to, like, we have to give so much. But nobody tells our children, you need to take care of yourself. I mean, we talk about hygiene. Okay, yay. Okay, I took a shower today. Whoop, whoop. It's more than that. There's something about, like, some European countries have it. Like, they know that life has to include pleasure, because that pleasure is part of our balance. If you need to take a 3-hour lunch because that's how long it takes you to savor whatever is in front of you, that's self-care.
You're right.
Like, we need to start integrating, knowing that we not only need pleasure, but we deserve it. Daily. All the time.
Oh my God, Robyn, because I went to Bali twice last year. And what you're saying is so true in foreign countries, because they believe in that. They believe in the meditation. They believe in even like having like, you know, actual like massages and things like that,
gosh,
like for themselves to really, you know, rejuvenate their spirit. And I think that's why that, you know, most of the time people are nicer, you know, when you go to other places.
Absolutely.
Like, they don't have like all this baggage on them, you know. It's like when I went to Bali for the first time, and Rhonda is both Robyn and I's mentor, and she said, you know, this country is very confronting. You're going to confront a lot of things. And Abby would tell you, because Abby and I went to Bali twice last year too. And I just cried every time I went there, probably like the first 3 days or so, because it's like, it's so confronting of your personal emotions. It's like, okay, what do I need to hold myself accountable for and of when I get back on that plane and go home? It's like, now it's about what I'm going to do, not what the people around me is going to do. A lot of times we come back and we're like, okay, these people got to change because there's a new Letitia in town. I'm back in New York. I'm here.
Right.
Okay. And they're going to wise up. But really, it wasn't about that. It was like, okay, what am I going to do? That's going to create a new reality. It's going to create our new self. And that is an emotional, that's honestly, ladies, that is an emotional process. For me, it was to go through.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course it's an emotional process, because you're taking all these pieces that are what make us human, all those pieces, and we've now connected them together.
Yeah.
And now, well, shit, now I have to do something about it. Right? You put them all in a row, and now what are you going to do with that row? So that's why it's confronting, because all in the back of your head before you even went, they were all crazy and wild, and they did their own thing on automation. You didn't even have to worry about them. You go to a place where these things force you to put them in alignment.
Yeah,
that's why you have that emotional release, because now they're actually working for you instead of just playing on autopilot.
That's true. And Shoshana Cuevas mentioned about rest and hold on, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on me. And that thought is so enthusiastical to the U.S. culture. We manage emails, texts, laptops, drives, and multitasking. That's true. I mean,
oh my God, 100%.
I tried 2 weeks ago, and my clients they're on here. They'll tell you, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm taking Saturday, Sunday off. I'm not gonna touch my phone. And I ended up like squeezing in time. It's that anxiety that we have. It's like they did this research on families out here in the U.S., different states, not just one state. It was a very like broad survey, and it was saying how they took these tablets away and how these families couldn't even have conversations with each other. It was really amusing, but also sad at the same time.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Simon Sinek did a video presentation on the addiction of electronics.
Yeah.
Right? We are removing our ability to communicate, and yet we're still expecting the people that we're trying to communicate to understand us.
Yes.
And like we're going backwards right now.
We are.
Like, we came from Neanderthals, where they drew pictures on caves as a form of communication, and now we have emojis. Like,
and some people only talk in emojis.
I can't do it.
I'm like, how do you do that?
Can't do it.
Yeah. And my mom got like an eggplant in her text one time. Like, Mom, don't talk to him. Like, Roger, just don't talk to him no more. He sent you an eggplant.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what you got to say, sis?
Well, I could say that, when we do these little things, they don't understand how it drains you. It drains you out. It drains you. And when it drains you, you can't think clearly. There's no clarity. There's no clarity as to who you really are and who you are meant to become.
Very true.
All of those things, because we continue to try to, as I said, we continue to try to please people. We continue we give ourselves, because, as we said, we're nurturers. We're natural born nurturers. We always want to make sure everybody else is doing good. We'll make sure the kids are doing good, make sure the house is doing well, our family doing good, and all of that. But at the end of the day, what about us? We don't have the energy. We don't have the drive. We don't have the stamina. You don't have the power within us to just go ahead and accomplish what we've been dreaming about, what we've been visualizing the night before. You talk to your husband about it, or you talk to your friend about it. And this is what I want to do. I want to start a program. I want to start an organization. I want to start my business. I want to do da-da-da. And you have the tribe. You have your network of friends, outside that say, girl, you got this. Make it happen. Do it. And you're like, okay, I'm excited, blah, blah, blah. And then when you get into your inner circle, which is full of chaos and drama and all of that stuff, it distracts you. It depletes you. And then you be like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do this. You know what? Maybe I should not. Maybe I just need to leave my dreams behind and just focus on my family, focus on my husband, focus on my parents, focus on my kids, my bird, Toto, whoever, And I'm just being honest. And ladies, we're killing ourselves from the inside out. We're killing our dreams. We're killing our purpose. You know what? Stress is a silent killer. Do you understand that? Stress is a silent killer. But I say that because a lot of women would say, no, I'm not stressed. I'm good. I'm all right. But honestly, you are, because you keep meditating on in the back of your noggin back here. You keep thinking about what happened the day before. You keep thinking about the conversation your husband had, and you trying to have him to understand where you coming from. Maybe he's not supposed to understand what your dream's about, what you want to do with your life, because he's only focusing on himself. He got issues on his own, trying to take care of the home, the bills, and all this other stuff in between. But ladies, we have to stop falling back into that past. We got to stop, doubting ourselves and start agreeing with the people in the past that said, you ain't nothing. You ain't going to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Stop being a wimp. Stop being a cheater. Stop cheating yourself, because that's what it is. You cheating yourself. You cheating yourself of all the opportunities that is so available to you. And it doesn't, half of the time, doesn't even cost a thing. It doesn't cost you nothing.
You know, Abby just mentioned the brain game. And I remember, Abby, you mentioned this to me a lot. That is so true, because how I know for me, I had to deal with the process of not allowing other people to play these brain games. I call them manipulators.
Yeah.
And then I had to stop playing brain games with myself. Feeling that I needed someone to be happy was dangerous for me. It really was. It was a really dark, super dark moment in my life. And it was only because when I started to really take action and say, I need to change. And for some of you guys, it needs to be a massive change. My change was flying 33 hours to a whole nother country to really re-identify myself with the real Letitia. That's why I changed all my social media names to @TheRealLetitiaCampbell, because that's really for me to say my own personal, recognition that I just finally just stepped back into myself, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like it's that brain game. That's basically what you've been talking about, Tawanta.
Right. Right.
Oh, Abby says, I'm jealous. Everyone's coffee cups. No, let me tell y'all, Shoshana Cuevas, she's going to be on the show in June. Y'all got to see her cup. Her cup is like the queen cup, honey. Yeah, this is my elephant cup, honey. I love elephants, if y'all didn't know. Yeah, my birthday's coming up in December, so just in case y'all want to get
That's nice.
Yes, it's cute, right? I love it. Where you come back, Tawanta? Tawanta got
what I was going to say. What I was going to say, ladies, is that, ladies, you have to start learning how to embrace your identity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, Freud postulated a theory called the repetition compulsion, which is where the conscious mind goes, I want to change, I want to do it, I want to get it done, and all that stuff. It's very ambitious. Mm-hmm. And yet at the unconscious mind, it says, no, it's too dangerous, stay put, stay in your lane, it's okay. So the actual way to heal through that is to do, right? Because anxiety will get in our way always. Yep. And it will tell you all the things, all the risks that happen, and it will highlight everything that will go wrong. And you have to go, yep, okay, well, let's find out. Because you're actually creating a new neural network when you do the action of. And that's where, and then the unconscious mind goes, oh, I'm safe. Okay, let's go. Let's keep doing it. Because then that's where the addiction comes in of, I need to get my hustle on every single day because that makes me feel good. It's like going to the gym. It will give you the endorphins and it's fantastic.
Wow. I love that. And ladies, you have to start rethinking how you think. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
You have to rethink on how you think, because if you thinking negative all the time about yourself, about the situation, and guess what? You're going to have negative results.
That's true. That is so true.
Keep it real. Because you have to listen to what comes out of your mouth all the time. Stop blaming everybody else and saying, well, he don't support me, this, that, whatever. Well, we already got that established. Your husband not supporting you, your family's not supporting you. What about you? Are you supporting yourself? Are you supporting your dreams? Are you holding on to the foundations here? You already have the blueprint. You already have the ideas.
That's true.
And we constantly self-sabotage, ourselves, right? Because, we keep listening to the lies and the bull crap, of what's going on, in our family. And I think it also, people look at our generational history from our, from our family trees, like from our aunts to our grandmoms and all that other stuff. And we look at their life and we're like, well, their life was never this, was not popular. They didn't achieve their dreams and now they passed away and all that stuff. They want us to be that housewife and all of that. Now, I ain't got nothing against that. If that's what you called to do, that's amazing. But you can still flourish and do multiple things on top of that, on being a housewife and raising your kids and all of that. You have a phenomenal power within you, to be whatever you want to be. Social media, technology today is just so, over the top. It's ridiculous. There's no reason why you can't earn an executive income just, nursing your baby at the same time.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. But we continue to think about all of the negative stuff that, that we deal with every day. Who says you have to stay in that mess? Walk away from it.
That's true.
Don't have to.
And so, we're going to end it on this note, because this is an awesome conversation. I want to thank Robyn again so much for joining us. I also want to lastly say that, if you really want to step into your true self, your new you, if you want to start really changing things massively in your life, starting from today, you got to hold yourself accountable for every single decision that you make, every single decision. And I know how it is sometimes. We as sisters, we're so quick to point the finger saying, well, he got me angry or she got me angry. No, you got to hold yourself. Nobody can make you feel anything. And that when somebody told me that for the first time, I almost say they lying. Because let me tell you something. You don't know my story. But it's like, it's true. Nobody can make you feel anything. You have control, massive control over how you feel every day, how you wake up in the morning, how you go to bed at night. That's so important.
So I want to just correct that a little bit.
Go ahead, Mama.
Before we end, because I need to correct that. People can make you feel things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the feels that you have to correct. It's the response.
Yes, that's what I mean. Absolutely.
We don't have, I just need to clarify that, because it drives me crazy as a clinician to hear, oh, they can't make me feel anything. No, they can, because biologically we have no control over that spot in our brain.
Yep. That's true.
We do, however, have control over how we respond.
That's true.
And that's the key, because we don't have control over our emotions. We very rarely have control over our thoughts. We have absolute control over our
actions. Absolutely. Thank you so much for correcting that. That's why we got Robyn on here. Okay. Because when you are building your army and you have somebody awesome like Robyn to correct, like, let me help you out, sister. I love that. So nobody has power over your actions.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Robyn, for sharing that. So Robyn, if these ladies are loving you, we're getting hearts, we're getting comments, we're getting all this love. And thank you guys so much for joining us for the show. So Robyn, you can let everybody know how they can connect with you. I'm going to put your link in the comments, but if you can explain to them about, exactly what you do and what services you provide, so they know, what to go to.
Sure. I actually provide breakthroughs for women who are trying to overcome the trauma of their past. They're trying to get a clear picture of their future. Mm-hmm. And I unpack all of that with them. So people can reach me either on my Facebook at Respectful Relationship, or they can find me at SWY, which is Start With Yourself, links.com. And you'll be able to access either my Facebook, my LinkedIn, some of my packages, and my calendar. So if you want to bump into there.
Yeah, I got mine too. I love that thing when you put everything at one time. And I did promise that for those of you who are watching, that if you go, I also put a link there in the comments. So that way, those of you who are interested in joining our Sister to Sister Connection Facebook group is free of charge. You don't have to pay. It's there. And also some awesome stuff is on there as well. So, Tawanta and I and Miss Robyn are going to head out. And Tawanta and I, again, we have some awesome stuff coming up in our support group. So make sure that you guys hop on over and join immediately. You got to answer those questions, okay?
Yes.
Because we won't let you in. But, Robyn, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it.
Audience, for connecting with us, for correcting us too, because we need that correction. We love it. We love it, love it, love it. Okay. Until next time, guys, don't forget, get out there and dominate, because it's time to design the life that you deserve. See you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.